And Greenville police say 3 people are recovering after an overnight shooting outside of a club. Police say they responded to Club Rain around midnight, and when they arrived, they learned one suspect shot several people in front of the club after they were kicked out. 3 people were taken to the hospital. The suspect was arrested, and police say they're charged with 3 counts of attempted murder.